Dear Father Fabio, we start this interview on a very historic note. On this very day, on the evening of 26 January 1854, they were gathered in the room of Don Bosco. He, Don Bosco, Rocchetti, Attiglia, Cagliero, and Rua. It was proposed to us, they said, to make, with the help of the Lord and St. Francis de Sales, a trial of practical exercise of charity towards our neighbor, and to then come to a promise, and then, if it seemed possible and convenient, to make a vow to the Lord. From that evening, the name Salesians was given to those who proposed and will propose such an exercise. This is indeed very historic. But why did you choose to promulgate the ratio on such a day?
It is a historic moment. And I would like to quote the first phrase. The name Salesians was given. In that humble beginning from which we began to call ourselves Salesians, we have a name which is an identity. There we find already our DNA, who we are, and who we are called to become. That means our formation. We agree, that means one heart and one soul, on a practical exercise of charity towards our neighbor. There, mission and formation. That's how we were born. We thus move towards the future by nourishing ourselves at the original source of the charism. Let us return to Valdocco. In order to have the courage to venture on to new paths, with a strong interaction between mission and formation, as in fact happened in the first oratory. The promise and vow to the Lord, which in that first meeting was perhaps, is entrusted to tomorrow. It is our identity as consecrated Salesians, with such abundant fruits of holiness across the geography and history of our congregation. It is also significant that the starting point is so small. What matters is the quality of the intention and the response given to the Lord. Growth from that point of view is in the Lord's hands. It is the same dynamism of sincere response and full trust that our formation asks of each one of us today, and of which the ratio is the expression and the guide.
Promulgation of the ratio. To promulgate, it has a solemn tone, one that is institutional, and it's rarely used and accurately used, especially only for important documents. What lies behind this gesture and this text?
Yes, you are right. The word promulgation is very solemn, and rightly so, because within the ratio lies our Salesian life as we have made it our own and promised to live it by professing our 196 articles of the constitutions. The general regulations, the second document, the regulations norm and regulate the practice of the constitutions in many aspects of our daily life, context, and structures. The ratio comes as the third document in order of institutional importance to indicate and accompany the journey of each of us and all of us Salesians together, so that we may become ever more and ever better that Don Bosco of today, to whom the Lord calls and sends us. The strength behind the word promulgation is entirely meant towards expressing the intensity of appropriation, of making this treasure our own, and taking steps of Salesian conversion, which in substance are steps of following the Lord in that form of life where He wants us and is close to us every day with His grace. The ratio is part of this uninterrupted gift of grace that enters into dialogue with our freedom. To promulgate, therefore, is a solemn act that we all make together in view of renewing our religious profession. A yes towards our permanent formation, which asks of us constant renewal in order, as we read in the constitutions, to be signs and bearers of God's love to young people of today and of tomorrow. To become ever more the face and friendly hand of Don Bosco in the 137 countries in which we are present, together with other members of the Salesian family.
Father Fabio, the cover of the document tells us that the document was approved on the 22nd of December and is promulgated on the 26th of January today. And it also says that it is the 40th draft. Does this promulgation mean that it is a seal, an amen that closes a journey? Or does it mean that we are entering a new phase of another journey that would take us forward? How would you see?
Yes, it's draft number 40. It is the final stage, as you can imagine, of a long journey. What is done today, while we promulgate the text, can be like the last seal, the final stamp, the signature, and the amen that concludes and acknowledges the value of this long journey. A happy birth after a demanding period of pregnancy. But it is also true that one promulgates something from which effects are expected from that moment onwards. Indeed, this is the only reason behind everything that has been done so far. The formative process that the ratio will set in motion. From the very first meeting of the newly elected General Council immediately after the General Chapter 29, it was very clear that what now begins is not at all less important than everything that together with thousands of Salesians and mission partners has been done to reach this draft number 40. The promulgation is not the equivalent of the whistle of the 90th minute that ends the match, but rather the whistle that gives the kickoff for a match for which we have trained for a long time. Concretely, within 2 months, the translations into the 5 main languages will be available, and the official text can be made available to all communities conferer in digital format. The printed edition will surely follow. In the meantime, initiatives to foster socialization and appropriation will follow.
Father Fabio, any final invitation or appeal to accompany us in this new beginning?
The name Salesians was given. I think that phrase is very strong. It was a phrase written in the first hour of the congregation. As we approach the feast of Don Bosco, let us think of what was born from those humble origins and how the lives of millions of young people have been reached and transformed by that practical exercise of charity towards our neighbor, which became promise and vow to the Lord. In the school, of our father and teacher. The young people who look to Don Bosco today are many more, and many more will be tomorrow. The mission is only beginning, Saint John Paul II wrote in Redemptoris Missio. Even for us, what lies ahead is a field even wider than the one in which we have been present so far. The more we are creatively faithful to the vocation and mission entrusted to us, the more the young people who enter our houses and meet Salesians today, who are precisely those who continue that exercise of charity began by Ru and Caliero, they will be happy in time and eternity, which is the only desire of Don Bosco's heart, as he assured us in his famous letter from Rome, written here in 1884. The ratio is simply all this. Let us not let slip from our hands this gift of conversion and renewal that the Lord is asking from us. Age will arrive to help us know it better. Above all, we will have the actual text in our hands. My appeal is that each one of us, both those living in the mature seasons of Salesian life and mission, and those initial phases of formation, be the first to choose, to decide, to welcome this gift, and allow ourselves to be involved in the process of Salesian conversion, in which the ratio will accompany us step by step. No one can do it in my place. It is a gift for me because through what it provokes within me, it will become a gift for all those to whom I am sent. Courage. Together, in whatever season of life and wherever we find ourselves, let us enthusiastically resume the journey. Father Rinaldi has a very powerful phrase. Either we belong to Don Bosco or we belong to no one. Very strong. Entering fully into this new process means not only belonging to Don Bosco, but becoming ever more Don Bosco today for the many young people throughout the world who need more than ever his smile and his presence as father and friend.